Here is how to comment during the Frankly Speaking show. On your computer, look to the right of the video. That's your live chat hub. Click the Say Something box at the bottom, type your message, and hit enter. Boom, you're live. On the mobile app, it's just as easy. Tap the live chat button right under the video to open the window. Pro tip, if you're in full screen mode, tap the screen once and hit the chat icon to see messages without leaving the action. Can't type? Check two things. Make sure you're signed in and see if subscribers only mode is on. You might need to sub and wait a few minutes. Keep it respectful, follow the mod's rules, and have fun.
Good day. The devastation in the southwest coast town of Black River was catastrophic. Yes, frankly speaking, several towns across Jamaica's west were smashed by Hurricane Melissa, but arguably, none was on the scale of Black River. There was a host of factors that combined and conspired against St. Elizabeth capital, frankly speaking. Now, nearly 9 months on, we wanted to get a leg up on the progress on plan implementation for Black River and its necessary resurgence. Frankly speaking, we have two informed and important guests to help us understand what is or should be happening in Black River. We are joined as usual by our panelist, Winnie Anderson Brown. We expect Desmond Richards in a minute. Thanks to you, our viewers and listeners. Remember, we welcome your comments and questions. You may send comments and questions by following the procedure outlined earlier, or just place them in the space provided on the YouTube channel. Also, we encourage you to like and share the podcast and subscribe to the channel. Remember, we will be finishing a conversation we started last week with businessman Leopold Williams, the second part of the program. But let's get to Black River first. Welcome to Katie and Miles Brown. She's president of the St. Elizabeth Chamber of Commerce Black River chapter, and Peter Francis, who is an architect with expertise and interest in heritage preservation. Before we go to them, let's take a look at Black River in the immediate aftermath of Melissa. Can you help us with that?
I don't understand what you're saying, but
Video, Joshua. Don't think Joshua's video is going.
We're seeing, we're just not hearing anything, but we're seeing. Yes.
That's not the video, actually.
Okay.
Okay. All right, we'll do without it because the video we have is a dramatic video, but I'm not seeing that from Joshua. So, it's all right. Let's move on, Joshua. A few months after that, a few months later, I wanted to pick up on what Mr. Francis himself wrote as an outlook on, as a preamble to some suggestions he was making. And Winnie recorded part of that. So can we get that, Joshua?
Coming to you with that shortly, sir.
All right. Please be patient with us, viewers and listeners. We're trying to give you some of the background and the context of Black River. All right, so maybe we'll get back to it. Maybe we'll get back to it. We can't hold for that long. All right, let me just start with Mrs. Myers Brown. Mrs. Myers Brown, we know you suffered personal business losses, as did so many other people, and you had losses in your business. Yeah, and you are an attorney. I don't remember if we did say that. Yes. What's the status of rebuilding of Black River up to this point?
Thank you for having me again, Franklin, this afternoon on your program. But to your question, we are still at a standstill, if I were to say that. For the most part, we have a few businesses, currently about 4 supermarkets, major supermarkets in the town that has regained somewhat. But for the grand majority of businesses that were totally affected, they have not returned to any sort of business at all. So if you were to drive through the town of Black River, especially, and I'm making reference to the parish capital with respect to High Street, Black River, you will see the destruction. You will get a vivid picture of what actually happened on October 28th, 2025. So whilst we don't have the rubble on the streets anymore, the dilapidated buildings, some of which that had years of history, I can say in particular Sunrise Bakery, it is an empty shell. So many other business places that were thriving businesses in the town space of Black River, it is just an empty shell as we speak currently. So, but for about 4 supermarkets, and what you will find is that some small business operators, they are trying their best to come back. And also we have the vendors who were mostly housed at the municipal marketplace, which has also been torn down completely. It's just the empty space that is there now. They are just all about the town, just trying to find a space to vend. And most of them are primarily located along Brigade Street. That's where most of them has since relocated, but you have a few that are just about the town, trying to, as I did a walkthrough with some of my chamber members on Friday, they were telling us that they're just trying to spread out so that their customers can be able to find them, those that are not on the Brigade section of Brigade Street section of Black River. So Black River.
Who do you talk to about getting things going, and anything at all? Getting things going.
Well,
who's your contact?
So obviously, the Member of Parliament, Minister Floyd Green, is one of our main and major contacts. We also would love to seek, or have tried to seek, guidance from the municipal corporation, the St. Elizabeth Municipal Corporation, but they are not aware in the most instances as to what it is that will come for the town of Black River and this new city that we are hearing about. So they don't have much information, but for what we would have gotten so far, we can credit that to the Member of Parliament, Minister Floyd Green. Beg your pardon.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Coming back to some of those issues, Peter Francis, what's your understanding of what is supposed to be taking place now, and what's your view of what's happened? I don't remember. I know that you're in touch with St. Elizabeth, but what's your understanding of what's to be happening now?
Right. Okay. Well, thank you very much for the invitation, Franklin, and it's a pleasure to be among you all, discussing a very important issue in what is now the 2026 hurricane season. In July, ramping up to the height of the July tourism hurricane season, and very little progress has been visibly made in the town of Black River since the devastation of Melissa about 9 months ago. And I wear a couple of hats. I am on the technical committee of the Jamaica National Heritage Trust. So, you know, Black River is a historic district. It has been devastated. I'm very keen, as is the Jamaica National Heritage Trust, that the historic district, devastated as it has been, you know, maintains its heritage status, and we find ways of securing, rescuing what is there, and building upon what on the refuse of that Hurricane Melissa has left. That's one area. As an architect, I know that there are a number of things happening in the background by private architects who have come together and put together a number of proposals as to how Black River can rise from the ashes of Melissa. A lot of those ideas have been circulated privately and to some extent publicly. And I know that the whole issue about NARA has come into the mix, and the whole question about Black River's urban future, the possibility that you know, Black River's future is tied to other parts of the parish, linkages to other parts of the parish. There are all sorts of discussions going on about how Black River will fare going forward as a parish capital.
But who is to pull it together, Mr. Francis? Who is there? I'm trying to find out. I should have asked Mrs. Brown as well. Who is to pull it together? Is there a committee, as far as you know? You know, who's to pull it together?
You know, in a situation like this, you would expect, you know, the government, the local government, along with civil society and other stakeholders like the Jamaica National Heritage Trust, to come together and push the stabilization of Black River forward. This is taking far too long, in my opinion. I myself am involved in the stabilization works of St. John's Parish Church, which is one of the central buildings that has been severely damaged by.
Sorry, but let me just ask Mrs. Myers Brown that, because I want to get that context. Is Mrs. Myers Brown, as far as you know, a committee, a group? I don't even want to use the word committee because people sometimes say that goes nowhere. Is there a committee, as far as you are concerned, responsible for this future of Black River, looking at it?
To your question, Mr. Franklin, no. I don't know of a committee within the space that is charged with that responsibility. So the trite answer is no. There is none. I don't know of it unless it has not come to my table as yet, but I don't know of such committee. But like Mr. Francis says, you would hope from Government of Jamaica's standpoint that they, along with other critical stakeholders, which would also include the Chamber of Commerce, the Parish Development,
Yes.
the municipal corporation, all those players must come together to see to the betterment of this new restoration that we're talking about. But to date, there is no such committee that I am aware of.
Winnie, you want to take that
This
question?
is a good time, yes. This is a good time to take that comment from M. Lariston now. And I'll say, have members of the government met with the chamber and leadership of the parish to outline its plans for the capital and the new city? That's a question.
So to M. Lariston, no. We have had, at our chamber meetings, we have had the privilege of Minister Floyd Green coming on and giving us some basic information. We have had also a meeting with a member from the UDC team. And this is sometimes, I believe, I stand corrected if I'm wrong. It may be, if I'm wrong, it's possibly around March or so thereabout. And that meeting was really just an introduction as to what the UDC is and what they stand for. But as it relates to the restoration and rebuild of Black River, we have not yet brought to a table or to a meeting to say by the government of Jamaica or any of these stakeholders, be it NARA or UDC, to say these are the plans for the town of Black River. So no to your question.
And before you go any further, I like when we make sure that people know what we're talking about with these acronyms and abbreviations. So UDC, NARA. When we say UDC, are we talking about the Urban Development Corporation, so that we don't take it for granted that everybody knows what's UDC and what's NARA? So please.
Definitely.
Yes.
Definitely. So the UDC is the Urban Development Corporation, and the NARA is the National, let me just ensure that I get that correct, the National Authority, I crave your indulgence, the National Reconstruction and Resilience Authority, that's NARA. And UDC, as I will say again, that's the Urban Development Corporation.
And UDC was initially tasked with the cleanup of the town alongside the National Cleanup Program. Winnie, there's a comment from...
No, I don't think
about
so.
the best types of cocoa bread in Jamaica were baked by the Sunrise Bakery, and that's Ruby and Forbes. And earlier she said, "Good afternoon, everyone."
It is in fact so. Internationally acclaimed Sunrise Bakery provides the best cocoa bread you will ever find on this rock called Jamaica.
Oh wow!
It stands now as a relic.
But you know, I'm very disappointed, Mrs. Brown and Mr. Francis, that I just can't even. I'm here saying, how could this happen to Black River on the scale that it has happened, or even at all? And there's not a grouping with whom, you know, NARA people would meet, the UDC people would meet, some of the heritage people would meet, and there's not a grouping from within Black River itself that exists on the ground there, like you do. You are practicing Black River as an attorney. You know these other business people. We know that Black River was not Santa Cruz, and was that other place growing very fast down in St. Elizabeth. But it was there. It was a historic town. It had Waterloo guest house. It had places that people loved to visit. It had a Zong monument and so on. And they haven't.
And of course, the Black River Safari.
The Black River Safari. Mm-hmm.
And they haven't worked out a way that you all, for example, Mrs. Miles Brown, you said you did a walk on Friday, that you all have the information that you could tell your members, tell people on the streets, tell the stakeholders. I'm really just, I'm ashamed by it. I must tell you the truth.
We are too, yes. And quite frankly, I will say, Mr. Franklin, that the community feels disrespected somewhat, because when you see 8 months past the storm and we are now in the 2026 hurricane season, and so much is being said, but nothing is happening of great importance on the ground, it really speaks volumes.
Wow.
All right. I have a question here.
Go ahead, Desmond. That's Desmond Richards. I didn't get to introduce you at the start. Go ahead, Desmond.
Yes, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Two issues. One is that when you speak with the member of parliament, could you share with us what has he said to you? And secondly, this one is for both of you. There is a school of thought suggesting that rebuilding the town of Black River, you have to move we should move further away from the shore. What is the thinking on that?
Okay, go ahead. Let's start with you, Mrs. Brown, and then we go to Mr. Francis, who is also an architect.
All right, thank you, Desmond, for that question. For those questions, rather. So when we spoke with the MP, he would basically give us the information as it relates to what is government's view as to how they will go ahead with the restoration rebuild. So of course he would have given us information about the National Authority, National Reconstruction and Resilience Authority, NARA, and he will also give us information about, UDC and what their role is, where the whole, reconstruction and rebuild of the town, what that will speak of and what that will look like. He would tell us, or he has said to us, that the parish capital will always remain Black River, but certain government agencies, for example, the courthouse, the tax office, the hospital, those buildings will be built further inland from the shoreline, given what we would have seen, what Hurricane Melissa did to those buildings. So he has reassured us that the parish capital will remain Black River, right? And the last time we spoke, of course, NARA was not yet gazetted and they were still doing works concerning that. So we got timelines. Give us another 2 weeks, give us another month or so for us to come and start doing consultations with persons on the ground. But that has now translated to about 2-3 months now, and still we are not hearing or seeing anything. The most I can say, I believe UDC, because I am in communication with one person, UDC has been doing some survey in the town of Black River, and this was about the last 2 weeks. The last 2 weeks, and we are now 8 months past Hurricane Melissa. The last 2 weeks, they were in the town conducting some survey, which I find that to be very poor, because I asked the question, what about January? What about February? Why wait so late? So therefore, one could probably assume that these talks that they're referring to will possibly be the ending of this year or even maybe next year, because they will now have to collate all of that information to come back to us. So currently, as we speak, the consultation with which we were told that we will be getting has still not happened as yet. All right.
Okay. Let me have Mr. Francis respond. Mr. Francis, can you respond to Desmond's 2 questions, and particularly?
Well, I can respond to the second one, really.
Yes, thanks.
To relocating. Look, first of all, what happened to Black River could have happened to any coastal town along the south coast of Jamaica. It could be that even, Kingston could have suffered seriously from this hurricane had it not, moved further west. So the point is that one of the things that we have to do, Black River is not going anywhere. One of the things that we have to do is we have to make our coastline more resilient. We have to make sure that our coastal protection is more resilient. That's one of the things that we have to strengthen. We have to also learn from Melissa. And even before Melissa, the fact is that our hospital, our courthouse, our municipal services were not in the greatest shape. This is an opportunity, not welcome necessarily, but it's been put in front of us. This is an opportunity to plan our municipal services in an area that is more central, more accessible, more comfortable. And so this is an opportunity to move some of our municipal services and public services further to the geographic heart of the town. And, that's one of the planning strategies that's being adopted and being looked at. We have to look at Black River, the opportunities for Black River. We have to look at the High Street, the opportunities for High Street. We have to basically take a long-term view as to where these things need to be starting to be relocated to. But, you know, in support of business people in Black River, we have to get business moving now. I don't see any reason why the people that are selling.
And Mr. Francis, I totally agree with you. So when I heard Mrs. Brown speaking, as I said, I was really flabbergasted by the fact that it doesn't seem, for example, that anybody is talking to the vendors and arranging a temporary market or a temporary place for them, like just the vendors who would have been at the market or used to be at the market. It doesn't seem. I must make this editorial point that we did try to reach Mayor Solomon several times this week. I'd reached him 2 months ago to talk about Black River, but no responses. No responses. Mr. Francis, just tell us. So what would you recommend now in terms of, you mentioned that businesses must go ahead. What would you recommend? Yes.
Franklin.
Yes, go ahead.
About 2 years ago, we met with the parish council along with the Chamber of Commerce and a couple other stakeholders. We were trying to put together a workshop, a 3-day workshop, a planning workshop to basically have the people of Black River come together with the political directorate, the management of the town, the architects, the heritage trust, etc., to agree what are the priorities for Black River. And that was before Beryl. Now we are after Melissa. It seems to me that we need to get the mayorship, the municipality, pulling the town together and having meetings in the town, because the fact is that NARA and other agencies, UDC included, are in the process of macro planning for Port Royal, for Black River, and we need to make sure that they understand what the priorities for the people are now.
Very critical point, sir. There's a macro as opposed to this micro part of it. Before we come back to Mrs. Brown, though, let me just, Winnie, you want to take those?
I want to do Lariston now because of the question. So is it fair to assume that the delay in rebuilding businesses could be linked to the uncertainty as to what will become of the town? That's a question.
Well, uncertainty on whose part? I mean, the people of Black River are pretty certain that they want their town to stay, they want their town to thrive. So I don't know who would be delaying rebuilding on that uncertainty. There's no uncertainty there. The people of Black River are rebuilding the parish church and the Methodist church, and people just need the tools and the resources, and they will rebuild their lives. So they need resources, and they need to be empowered to do what is in their best interest.
I will also add to that, Mr. Franklin, that to an extent, there is anxiety in this town space or uncertainty in the town space of Black River, the parish capital on a whole, where business operators are concerned. So many of them, because of the lack of consultation, they are somewhat afraid to rebuild, to reinvest, because they are not sure, based on GOJ's pronouncements, they are not sure whether or not they're going to be told that the buildings may need to be, they're going to retake these spots for this new town that they're speaking of, and also, that they may have to push down those buildings that they may reinvest in. So I would say, Mr. Francis, that there is some uncertainty among the business district, because
I will support you on that, because that's what I heard in just talking around a couple of people to do this program. That they're not sure what is going to happen to Black River. They're not sure whether it's going to, Mr. Francis, they're not sure whether it's going to stand where it is or was. And they're not sure how many of the government buildings, municipal buildings, are going to be moved away from that, because that's where some people's investment would be tied. When you want to take that other one?
Yes, from the Homecoming Foundation, yes. At Donabone, yes. St. Elizabeth Homecoming Foundation stands with Black River and the parish important business survey recently concluded for Black River. That's a
And I'd love
statement.
to know if they are into the so if they are
Mr.
part of.
Franklin, if I may just interject here, the St. Elizabeth Homecoming Foundation is underground. As a matter of fact, I'm part of that foundation currently, and we have recently concluded a survey that was done of the parish capital. So we have a copy of the survey. So if it is that you need a copy of same, we can have that forwarded to you. But we did a survey completed.
I would be glad to have that. So what is your word now, Mrs. Brown, to the business people? You have told us about the 4 supermarkets and so on. To the business people, and the community to get going now. What would be your position with them?
Before Mrs. Brown answer that question, Franklin, I just want to alert you that the people now in the rural part of St. Elizabeth, I want you to know that there is significant concern among the people there. People in Paraty, for example, the government, as you must be aware, or you might be aware, that the Prime Minister announced that they are planning to remove Paraty. Now, people in Paraty are against that. Right. Now, in the interland, there are many people in St. Elizabeth who are still awaiting the benefits promised by government. Many people. And what is happening in Black River, it is also happening to the people in the interland, the rural part of St. Elizabeth.
Okay. All right. So, Mrs. Brown, I was asking that question, but I'm also going to ask it frontally this way. Is it possible that you and the other chapters of the St. Elizabeth Chamber could get together and put forward a position to government with regard to involving the stakeholders and getting you all who are on the ground active and participating in an overall plan?
Definitely, Franklin. So the St. Elizabeth Chamber of Commerce Black River chapter is the only chamber of commerce that exists in St. Elizabeth space, right?
Oh.
So
wasn't there one down at what's that fast growing community in the south?
Junction.
Yes.
No, there is none. There is none in Junction
as
far as I'm aware, and or Santa Cruz. So the Black River chapter is really just the only chamber of commerce that exists in the space of Elizabeth. Right. So of course, the executive of the Black River chapter is working on a vision plan for what we envision the town, the reconstruction of the town and what that looks like. And we will be presenting that as best as we can through our minister and through our other stakeholder groups that we have with us, to implore the government that they need to have as part of their committees these local groups, the Chamber of Commerce, the Homecoming Foundation, the PDC, other groups within the space, the municipal corporation, their government, but we all need to be a part of this grand reconstruction and rebuild of the town space of Black River or the parish.
Did you say earlier, Mrs. Brown, whether you had a meeting with the parish, not the parish council, municipal corporation? Did you say you had one or you were seeking one? I can't remember.
No, so we did not have one as yet. But coming out of our walkthrough that we did on Friday, it is the recommendation that we need to send something urgently to the municipal corporation and also to demand a meeting with them, because they need to tell us if they know any information, what are the plans for the town space of Black River, and also to let them know that the Chamber of Commerce, the Homecoming Foundation and so many other entities stand ready to be a part of any committee, any grouping that is geared towards this whole restoration and rebuild of Black River, because we have policy, we have points too that we would want to bring forward.
Okay, Mr. Francis, can you tell us, is there a group in your built environment architects expertise? Is there a group that you know of who is available and who is ready to work with the people down there, or how does it go? How would you engage them?
All right. So there are many colleagues of mine, some who have very close ties to Black River, who have actually put in place very detailed proposals for the revitalization and reconstruction of Black River. We've had numerous discussions among ourselves, and we've shared a number of these ideas with government. We've sought.
Sorry, you have shared them with government. You have spoken with somebody in government about this.
Informally, these ideas have been shared with government. I know that for a fact. I did not do this sharing myself, so I can't speak on behalf of the people who I know have shared them. I know UBC is involved in dialogue and discussion and planning to move the sort of macro planning, as I've said, forward in some way. I'm not sure how aggressive that will be. But the fact is that there are many ideas out there. I myself am part of the grouping of the Jamaica National Heritage Trust. We are very keen that the heritage district that is within the center of Black River remain. And so let me just reiterate this, Franklin. There are many people who have good ideas, very valuable ideas to contribute to any public forum that was going to come together and try and air the sort of future thoughts and ideas about how Black River should progress going forward. But let me just say this one thing. First of all, there is no town in St. Elizabeth like Black River when it comes to tourism. There is no town in St. Elizabeth like Black River when it comes to heritage tourism. There's no town like Black River for ecotourism. There's no town like Black River for built heritage. So there are many pillars for Black River to be reconstructed on. And so there's no question in my mind that Black River will rise. But we need to get this process moving.
Yes, sir.
I just want to make one comment, Franklin. What I'm hearing, it seems as if more is happening outside of Black River than what is happening on the ground. Exactly. It sounds like a lot is happening far away, and the people who are directly affected, they're not a part of that process. That's how it sounds.
Exactly so.
I completely agree with that. And again, look, from my point of view.
I know, Mr. Francis, I'm going to allow you to say that, but I just cannot understand why that this is so. I hear Winnie's point that it apparently is so, but I just cannot understand why the people on the ground, the people like in your group that you said that they're willing to put forward ideas, they're a group of architects, they know what they're talking about. I just don't understand why somebody has pulled them all together and said, this is a committee of 5 or 7, and they're going to be relating to the UDC, they're going to be relating to NARA, they're going to be relating to whoever, they're going to Tourist Board, TEF. I just don't understand.
Yeah.
But Franklin, that is not happening in none of the areas that were battered by Melissa. That was not happening. For example, right in my parish here in St. Anne, where you are, that remember that K Valley was drowned. You remember that?
It was flooded, yes.
Yes. Well, up to now, the people up in K Valley, they have not received any assistance.
I heard you speaking to the council on your program last week about that.
Yeah,
It's a design. It's a design. It's other control. They control armies far away from the people on the ground. That's a design.
In
Joshua, I'm going to ask you again to run. Joshua, I'm going to ask you to run the video. I gather that you have it at hand now. Before we put our final 2 questions to Mrs. Brown and Mr. Francis. Can you just run that video that we were talking about days after?
The combined effects of Category 5 winds, heavy rainfall, and the storm surge caused extensive damage and destruction to every corner of the town of Black River and environs. Although much of the road network has survived, the damage to coastal defenses has been considerable. Protective mangroves and tree cover has been flattened, and other infrastructure, principally electricity and water, are out of use, with water services slowly being brought online in places. Institutions have been severely impacted, with the hospital largely out of use. Municipal offices, including courts and admin offices, were severely damaged. Multiple churches, including the Anglican, Methodist, and Catholic properties, have been badly damaged. The market structure has been flattened. Nearly all commercial activity in the town, principally in High Street, has been all but decimated by the storm and the aftermath. Commercial activity in the town has been severely curtailed. Infrastructure at the wharf has been devastated by the hurricane winds and storm surge. Although the bridge over the Black River is apparently intact, checks still must be made to ensure that there is no underlying damage. The housing infrastructure of the town took a severe beating, with many dwellings losing part or all of roofs, damage to contents, loss of vegetation, walls, and resulting disruption to daily lives.
Oh, well, that Winnie was reading was from Mr. Francis, who was making those comments in January. And thank you, Joshua, for running the video for us. Mrs. Brown, are the services back? Essentially, now electricity, water, telecoms, Wi-Fi. Is that pretty much back?
So yes. So all our services, but for flow, has not regained or is not yet back in the town. But we do have JPS, we do have water, and we do not have flow, we do not have Digicel. We do have a free Wi-Fi system is now in the town. I think it's USF.
USF, yes, USF. It's government company, yes.
Right, but for
we don't have flow and Digicel services in Black River, no?
Not back as yet, because as we speak, even from my operations as an attorney at law, I still have to use my mobile data to be able to browse on the internet. So it's not back as yet for flow.
We need want to take those questions before we move forward.
Cable services, no flow, no Digicel.
Okay.
Okay, so Lauriston now, notwithstanding the desire to have the town remain where it currently is the chamber of the impression that it is safe and proper to do so? Can the town withstand as another Category 5 hurricane? Another, yes. And this other
you want
comment
to
he made,
that?
even though, let me just finish this one. Even though the desire exists to have the town remain where it currently is the chamber of the impression that it is proper and safe to do so. Can the town withstand another Category 5 hurricane?
Yes.
All right. So in its
you want to respond to that?
Who would you like to respond to that? Okay.
Ms. Brown,
Yes, go
would you
ahead.
like to respond to that?
Okay, thank you, Franklin. So the town in its current state now, July 2026, is not in any way, shape, or form ready for another Category 5 hurricane. But if certain safeguards are in place, we believe, to protect the coastal line, then and to actually strengthen buildings that are along the coastline in Black River, in the parish capital, and also along the coast, Crane Road, going up to Party. We can only predict that maybe the town will be in a better shape at that time to maybe say withstand a storm. We hope that we never ever get another Category 5 hurricane. As a matter of fact, another hurricane in the next 20 years, if ever. But in its current state as it is now, we cannot withstand not even a tropical storm, much less a hurricane. But we are saying that if safeguards are in place from GOJ and other private entities, I suppose, then maybe we would stand a better chance. But I leave that to maybe architects like Peter to tell us some more, give us some more specifics on that aspect.
Peter, how would you respond to that question? Same question.
Look, Black River is not going anywhere, right? But we know that we're going to be more vulnerable to storms in the future. Climate change is real. We have to learn from Beryl and we have to learn from Melissa what can happen, right? Now, I mean, one would hope that a storm coming along the south coast of Jamaica is not going to take the track that it took with Melissa, at its height. But it can happen. It can happen. But we know what we need to do, and we need to start to do it. And we need to put in place the measures that are required to safeguard life and property. And we know we have engineers, we have architects, we have urban planners, we have all the skills that are needed to make Black River rise again and to make Black River resilient in the future.
Okay, thank you. Mrs. Brown, we're going to give you the last word as we move on to our next segment. Mrs. Brown, what would you be saying now to the policy leaders, the leadership of St. Elizabeth, the leadership of the government, leadership of the municipal corporation? What would you be now saying to them and to the business people of St. Elizabeth, of Black River in particular? Sorry.
Well, as it relates to government of Jamaica, I would be saying to them that the business community of Black River needs to be looked at as priority. It is now 8 months going on, 9 months since Hurricane Melissa, and so many businesses are still in a lull, not sure what to do, right? So from a government standpoint, we need consultation. We cannot be operating in a space where decisions are being made outside of Black River and without the local stakeholders within parish, right? So we want consultation and we want for government of Jamaica to see the businesses in Black River as priority. So we are imploring entities, financial institutions, the Development Bank of Jamaica to come in and speak with us. As a matter of fact, I will say here that out of previous discussions that happened last week, we are to have a meeting with the DBJ sometime this week. So we want for more consultations like that can actually assist our businesses within the space. As it relates to municipal corporation, we need to see better management of the town space, and especially where our local vendors are concerned for the market. Based on our walkthrough on Friday, the vendors are willing to go back in the market. They are willing to move from the sides of the street, but up to Friday, when we did the walkthrough, some were bitter because they're saying that Since the storm to date, they have not heard anything at all. They have not seen the mayor. They have not seen anyone at all from the municipal corporation coming to speak with them. They are very concerned as it relates to the sanitary convenience or the lack of sanitary convenience that they have. And as a matter of fact, they don't have any at all. They have to be going to the other businesses, small operators within the space, the pharmacies, and begging to be using their sanitary convenience. So, small corporation.
Boy, Mrs. Brown, Mrs. Brown, it sound like you're telling liar the whole set up people who are supposed to be responsible. It sounds like you're trying to make them sound incompetent. You're trying. I mean, if you know, I would. Oh, what a disgraceful situation.
It is the cry of the people. It is a cry. So many vendors are very upset because they are currently not paying any vending fees to be where they're at. But so many of them, as a matter of fact, everyone, I could use the persons that we spoke with, they want to go back into the market space, but there is nothing. It's an empty space that is there. And they have resorted to building up little stalls and shops along the roadway to
But that's the poor level of governance, man. And what the parish council people are doing
from the municipal
and the health. Oh man, Mrs. Brown, Mrs. Miles Brown, I really thank you for joining us today. Really thank you and appreciate it. And thank you, Mr. Peter Francis. Mrs. Miles Brown is for those who joined late, the chair of this, the president of this St. Elizabeth Chamber of Commerce, the Black River branch. It's the only branch that they have at the moment. And Mr. Peter Francis is an architect and built heritage person with a long links to Black River, and we really appreciate it from you. Winnie's just going to take one comment before you go, Mrs. Brown and Mr.
Okay, comment from Marshallie White. St. Elizabeth and other parishes must rebuild with the input of residents. All stakeholder groups must be invited to the table. There must be genuine communication and consultation with the residents.
I endorse that 100%. That's it, Mr. Francis said. Thank you both, Mrs. Miles Brown and Mr. Peter Francis, for being with us on this segment of our program today.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
All right, we're going to go on to Desmond. It sounds as if we're incompetent. We can't do nothing. We can't organize a little, you know, small Black River is on the high street. We can't organize a little thing. These people get knocked out of their business. Months now, we can't organize to have a temporary market.
While you vent, Franklin, let's do this comment. Owen Richards, the people who need the most attention are always the last to get any attention. Politics as usual.
Oh boy. What a cynical position from Mr. Owen Richards. Terrible position to take, Mr. Richards. Was it true?
You and I have been talking about this for decades. The people in rural Jamaica, and this is something that has been happening for decades, are neglected. These officials.
Desmond, but Desmond, even this is a national situation. The whole country know about it. People overseas know about it. Black River has been destroyed. The people who make them like money by this little vending. I will come into Mr. Williams. I want to ask him about that. Little people who vend and make their little business. They can't organize a market for them. They can't organize a temporary market with some pipe. What does the parish council do?
I talk to the councillors who are willing to talk, and the people around the parishes, they are suffering. Right now, there are people in St. Elizabeth, thousands, who are problems accessing water. The roads have not been
touched. My God.
Right?
Oh my God, boy! I'm sorry. Winnie, you can take those comments before we go to Mr. Williams, because we're burning up his time.
Let me see. Donna Brown
Short on.
says St. Elizabeth is no more vulnerable to Category 5 than anywhere else in Jamaica.
And you have some up above that. You have shirt on the cost. I'd love you to take him.
Yes. Well, Ruby Forbes says it's not election time, and Shirton says, back to Shirton, please, because I'm on your side rather than mine. Back to Shirton. Yes. The folks in St. Elizabeth should do more to get the authorities to communicate on how best to get it done.
All right, thanks, Shirton. John Shirton also sent me a number today to reach the mayor of Shirton. I tried today, and I tried previously. But people who we elect to serve us, boy, is something else. It's something else, man. Let's go to Mr. Williams. You have to take Mr. Williams, Desmond, before.
Thank you. I want to share those two numbers with me, or two guests who are on the program. Share them with me. I want them
man,
on
we
radio.
can't come to that, man. Mr. Williams, welcome back, sir. Mr. Williams, tell me something. It's business we're supposed to talk, but we have so little time. I have to ask you on this. And you and I did share some ideas during the week. But Mr. Williams, why is it so difficult for us to help people get their businesses going? Because that's what we were technically talking about a while ago. Why is it so difficult? And you were talking about people getting into business. You were telling us last week why Black people should get into business.
Yes.
Why would it be so difficult for them to organize a market space? Mr. Williams, tell us why that is. Why historically that might be a problem. Why is that a problem?
Too many people are looking for the perfect situation to start a business. And
but the vendor's not looking for any perfect. The vendors want at least some water. They want some sanitary facilities. They want some cover over their head. Is that too much to ask for?
Yeah, no. I mean, the government. That's what the government's supposed to facilitate people for. They're supposed to facilitate entrepreneurship.
But why? But what I'm asking you, sir,
Franklin, sorry to interrupt you, Franklin. This is important, so please listen. Keith B., I don't think the mayor can do anything until the MP gives the finance. Can you correct me if I am wrong?
Yes, you're wrong in this particular case. The parish council has some funds, and as a committee, has a ton load of committees which you get paid for when you go as councillors and so forth. You get traveling or whatever you get. But the parish council can organize a temporary market. It's not run over time. It can reach to the ministry of local government, local government and community development. It can spend some money like that, Keith P. Is the care and the level of governance that is available that to make that? Why couldn't the parish council sit down and organize with all those funds that we haven't even spent yet, some of that funds which people give to the country, and organize? Mr. Williams, I'm going to have to apologize to you.
Yes, the parish council. That was where I had my first few months of work. I worked there for a few. My brother was a senior officer there, and I think parish council wastes the most of government funds in this country. Parish council. I think that's where most, because there's not a lot of proper planning happening in the parish council.
Mr. Williams, I see the levels of inefficiency in there.
Yes, I'm telling you, it's the most efficient place you can go in anywhere, and that is why I believe that we need a new paradigm shift from that type of governance. I think we must move to something different, because we'll never see what is supposed to happen through the parish council. Yes,
Mr. Williams,
that's my personal view. Yeah,
I have to give you my apologies because I got caught up in the slackness that is happening down in Black River and the inaction. We still need about 10 minutes. So me and you we will have a little chat about when we can do that. I want to thank you, Sir Williams, because we so want to talk about some particular things. Yes. But we will come back to it. Thanks. That's our show for this week. Thanks to all our listeners and viewers. Remember, the link that took you to the program allows you to watch again at any time at your convenience. You can also go to the Frankly Speaking Jamaica YouTube channel for this episode, which is episode 218. Please note, we will not have a show next week, Sunday, July 19. We will not have a show next week, Sunday, July 19. Thanks to our guests in the earlier segment, Mrs. Miles Brown and Peter Francis. Thanks to Mr. Leopold Steely Williams, who is really so kind and not cussing me. Thanks to Desmond Richards and Winnie Anderson Brown, and to graphic artist Joshua Black of Joshua Black Media Services. I want to really say I hope that something will be done. Someone will move Black River a little bit forward over the next couple of days, a little bit forward, and take the people in mind. And I want to congratulate the people from the chamber and the people from the foundation for speaking straight. On behalf of all of us, I'm Franklin McKnight. Until then.
The lights go up, the mics are lit. We're feeling that energy, that Sunday drive. Whether you're here while the clock is ticking or catching the replay, the plot is thickening. From the very first word to the final thought, you're the reason for every battle we fought. Oh, to our zealots, the ones who stay, and our viewers watching from miles away. If you live in the chat or on a late night screen, you're the heartbeat of the Frankly Speaking scene. We see